G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. Today I want to talk about some really simple things, some simple tips if you're starting out as a beginner to bonsai. If you've just got your first tree, your first plant, you're really into it, you're excited, any reason at all, but you're just starting out. Now, these tips are not how to style this tree and how to create a bonsai and all this kind of stuff. It's really simple. Other than that, it's just the most absolute basics when you're starting out, because these are things I've learned over 25 years of doing bonsai and trying to come to it as a beginner, from a beginner level, and what you guys need, plus all the questions I get asked as well. So this is where this comes from. All right, let's kick it off. Tip number one. Now, bonsai isn't a specific tree. Now, a lot of people say, oh, this is a juniper, but that's what they think bonsai is. That's all they think bonsai is. But bonsai is many trees. I've got a maple here, I've got junipers here, I've got pines, you name it. You can have a whole variety of trees. The key thing is they're trees. Trees live outside. That's what you need to think about. A lot of people tell me, can they put it on top of their TV set? Can they put it on top of their dining table with no light, etc.? No, it won't survive there. Some trees, very few, some trees can live inside if they're suited to tropical environments usually. I know people who put Chinese elms by the window on the inside of their house, but with the window open most of the time, fresh air coming in. I know people with apartments that are high up in buildings who have figs, and they do well, but they're in a very sunny spot near a window, can open, let the fresh air in, that kind of stuff. They need the sunlight. Do not put trees inside in the dark. They will die. Trees live outside. It's very, very simple, but I get that asked many, many times. So try and keep your trees outside. If you do have a tropical type of tree, it can live inside near a window, open window, keep it ventilated, all that kind of stuff. Really important. All right, here we go. Tip number two. Okay, goes hand in hand with trees living outside, is watering. Watering is fundamental to the survival of the tree. You need to make sure you know how to water your trees. If they're living outside, you can water them with a hose. Use a shower spray or rose spray, they call it, hose nozzle, whatever you can get. But really give them a soak. You know, every time you're out there, give them a full soak. During the growing season, you need to water once a day at a minimum, no matter what, pretty much, unless it rains all day or something like that. But during the growing season, you've got to water very often, once a day at a minimum. Do not get a little cup of water and pour it in. Do not spray the foliage and think that's enough. That doesn't work. You need to fully water the tree. Hose. I've done videos on this part in the past as well. So watering is very, very important. It's very hard to overwater trees if the tree's healthy. So don't get too scared about overwatering trees. It's very hard to do it, especially in the growing season. Now, in other climates, in my climate, my trees live outside all day, all year round. I don't have to worry about freezing temperatures, snow, etc. But if you're in those areas, there's things where you have to take trees inside into a non-hot. I think it's a cold garage. I'm not sure 100% what they call it, but somewhere inside where it's just cold, doesn't get the freezing, but it goes dormant. You don't need to water. I don't water much in winter either. Very rarely water at all, because it's just always going to be either rainy or frosty or cool. So you don't need to water too much in winter. But during the growing season, water every day with a hose, fully water, soak it. Okay. Now, number three is probably one of the most important ones, of course, but I'd put it number three just because the first two are about survival. The third one's about how you get better at bonsai, and that's simply learning. Learn as much as you can. There's no quick win. There's no quick solution to doing bonsai. There's no, read something for 5 minutes and then you're an expert. No such thing. It's work. It's studying. It's learning. It's watching YouTube videos. It's reading books. It's watching videos. You name it. Just learn as much as you can. But probably in this area, in the learning phase, my most important thing was I joined my local bonsai club. It was 25 years ago I joined. I'm still there. I am still motivated to do bonsai. It was one of the motivating factors that you get each month, each couple of weeks, whatever it is that you meet. You just keep getting motivated and motivated to stay doing it until it almost becomes a habit, and it becomes just ingrained in you that you just love it and you become so enthralled in it. But a bonsai club not only gives you that motivation, gives you the teaching, gives you opportunity to attend workshops, talk to really expert people in the club, learn as much as you can. Learning is critical. So joining a club. Now, if you don't have a club in your local area, why not start one yourself? It doesn't have to be big. Just put an ad out somewhere on social media somewhere in your local area and ask for bonsai interest. Anyone interested in bonsai, let's meet here. It's very simple to do, not hard, but then at least you get like-minded people doing bonsai together. It's one of the best things. Now, my club, Bonsai Northwest, I'm just spooking it, is in Melbourne, in Essendon we meet. So it's the first Monday of the month. We're very welcome to everyone, and just come along. We've got usually 60 to 80 people attending a meeting night, so it's really good fun, and you learn lots. All right, number 4 is kind of my opinion, and what I did is if you're starting out in bonsai, you get one tree, and if you only have one tree, I guarantee you that will die. Pretty much guaranteed, because you will love it to death. You'll want to do everything on this one tree, wire it, trim it, do this, do that. Oh, you just do too much to it. My opinion is get lots of trees. Get lots of trees. Get 10, 20, 30 trees, stock, bonsai stock. Don't go for the big, beautiful, expensive trees. Get stock that you can work on that is $20, $30, whatever it is, something around that you can actually practice on. Get different varieties, get different variety of trees so you can learn different varieties, what you like, what you don't like. I started doing that. I had like 200, 300 trees at one stage when I was starting out. But eventually I narrowed it down to things I really enjoy. Maples, Shimpaku junipers, black pines. You know, you see my videos, they're pretty much predominantly that. So that's my opinion. I know people have different opinions to that, but that's how I learn, especially. And you don't kill your first tree if you have lots and lots of trees to work on. Okay, so now we're up to number 5. Again, my opinion on this one, learn to wire. You need to learn to wire properly your trees. It's about learning, but it's also about where you should focus. If you learn to wire your trees properly, you get a better looking tree. All trees usually need some sort of wire. Junipers, especially pines, conifers, wire. Maples, I only do structural wiring on there. And if you follow that up, you know structural wiring is just the main branching usually. Whereas junipers, I wire everything on them. So learn to wire because you have better trees. Simple as that. There's no secret. It's not a secret technique about anything. Getting good looking trees. This needs a wire and trim, which I'll do in my next video, which will come up after this one. But learn to wire. You get much better looking trees that are exhibition quality, you know, and if you wire them in position, you get the better branching, better pads, and you actually stay motivated because your trees look good. So there you go, number 5, wiring. Learn to wire your trees. Now, I'm only going to do one more, and just kind of made the list because I thought it gets overused a lot and people worry about it a lot, is repotting. You know, there's so many times beginners come out to me, I need to repot my tree. Well, why do you need to repot your tree? Oh, because, I don't know, I need to repot my tree. Repotting is only needed if the tree needs it. Don't do it on a schedule. Don't do it on, oh, it's been a year and someone said I have to repot it because it's been a year. No. If it's filled the pot, if it's a tiny pot where it's filled all the roots have filled the pot entirely, the water doesn't get in, yes, repot. But don't repot because it's on a schedule. Don't repot because someone's told you to repot. Understand your trees. It's about repotting. Usually, if you're new and you're a beginner and you get a tree, it's usually quite skinny in a really large pot. I guarantee you do not really need to repot that tree. It's got lots of room to grow, lots of area to grow its roots. It's not going to be confined. The water's still going to go in nice and wet and really soak it. So don't need to worry about that. Repotting is about when the tree needs it. Now, to some people's surprise, I very rarely repot black pines or pines in general. I've got my big, huge radiata, which you've seen in videos before. It's probably been 15 years, 10 to 15 years. I haven't repotted that tree, and it's still perfectly healthy. You know, pines don't need to be repotted that much. The only time I really repot pines is if I want to change the pot. I don't like that pot, or I found a better pot for it and it looked better in an exhibition. That's when I repot my pines. Junipers, pretty much the same thing. Only if I can't get water into the soil surface will I repot. And that's pretty much 4 to 5 years usually. So it's not like a schedule. My maples, I've learned over the years that every 2 years I will have to repot because the maple's roots are so strong that they fill the pot up with roots and the water doesn't really get in much. And that's what I need. So it's pretty scheduled, that one, but it's 2 years. So you learn about your trees, learn about repotting. Repotting is like the last thing you really want to do to a tree. It really sets it back. and you don't want to do that. It's only if it's absolutely necessary to repot, okay? So don't get caught up on repotting when you're starting out. All right, guys, I talked a lot about that, but they're my 6 tips, especially 6 beginner tips when you're starting out and you just want to get into it and you want to understand bonsai and you've got your first tree or first couple of trees and you really want to get into them. Okay. All right, everyone, so hopefully that helps the beginners out and really understand the simple steps you need, especially when you're starting out, and what I think are some of the more important things to do when you're starting out in bonsai. Some things that helped me, especially joining the club, where you can learn and stay motivated. But they're the simple things that hopefully you take away and keep doing bonsai and keep enjoying it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.